A local movement that sprang up right around the early phases of the presidential election has come a long way since then. What started out as a couple of friends meeting informally has developed into a much more powerful gathering, attracting over 100 people to their last meeting at the Alpena Public Library. Pauline Buckner and Judy Stillian are two members who have seen the group rise from its early beginnings. Thank you for joining me, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
So what started out as just a couple of friends, you said drinking wine, talking about the election, blew up into over 100 people. So tell me what that's like.
When we had the first initial large meeting, we were shocked to see so many people come in the door, and knowing that they were coming because basically they agreed with the premises, that we were talking about, because we're concerned about the country and the direction that's going in, and we wanted to there was a moral imperative, at least on most of our parts, to do something to hopefully affect change.
And you have over 100 people at the last meeting. I know we've talked about a whole plethora of different political backgrounds, different ages.
Right.
We've got a whole spectrum of people from the community coming out for this group. So you've done the hard part, you've gathered them all together. Now, how do you find common ground with that?
Well, we did a process where you select what your topics are from 15 or 20 topics, and then those that came up as the most often selected were the ones we chose to work with, because we felt that we were better off if we focused on a few items rather than trying to cover everything people wanted to cover. So we came up with public education, climate change and environment, Affordable Care Act, and other social issues such as immigration, choice, and voting rights.
Why do you think those specific things were common ground that the people of Alpena or just Northeast Michigan found common ground in?
I think all of those have parts to them that affect our particular area. In our area, public education is fairly strong, and so we want that. Most people wanted that to continue. The climate change and environment, they're concerned with Line 5 and fracking and many other things in the environment. Affordable Care Act is a concern of everyone, particularly in this area where we have limited access to medical facilities. And then the social issues, the immigration and the choice and the voting rights. The laws are already on the books for immigration. If they're enforced as they're written, I think the vetting process that I copied off is 12 pages long. It takes some years to get here. So people need to know what the truth is in some of these instances.
So the things that your group covers at these meetings, how do they translate to local, state, even national government decisions? Well,
there are a couple things that we do. We put out a newsletter. It started out as once a week, and things are happening so fast that it's turned out to be 2 and 3 times a week. We're on number 23, and we're only into the 21st day of the new administration. And so that goes out, and it's just loaded with all kinds of information, articles, suggestions for action, things that they can do, calling their legislators, for instance. And one thing that we learned is writing to your legislators is one of the most effective things, but it takes a long time since 9/11 because those letters have to be scrutinized. So if you send a postcard, the scrutiny isn't required, and they can get right in.
Awesome.
On the next action newsletter that's going out today, probably, there are 18 action things that they can do. And we suggest them, we encourage people to do them, but don't require it, and hope people will at least pick 1 or 2. And that's happening all across the country. So I think that long term we can affect change. I have to feel that we can do that, all of us.
That was my next question to you, was just realistically, can Alpena make a difference? I mean, I know you guys have had this amazing experience with this group just blow up, and you have so much interest in it. Can Alpena make a difference?
Alpena can make a big difference, particularly starting at the local level, because all of these topics that we're talking about affect local people. And so contacting our legislators in the state as well as the federal government is an excellent way to make a difference. But we also need to make a difference through our township supervisors, our county commissioners, our city councils, and all of the branches of local government so that we are doing things that benefit Northeast Michigan.
Well, thank you ladies so much for joining me this morning. You can go to their next meeting, which will be on February 28th at Alpena Community College. I believe you said room 106 and 108?
104.
104
And 106.
and 106.